With the midterms approaching in November, what will happen to the Democrats' majority in Congress? And what could that mean for immigration reform? Democrats currently hold a narrow majority in Congress, which means Republicans only need to flip one seat in the Senate and 5 seats in the House to turn the tables. Unfortunately, the president's party typically loses an average of 23 seats in the midterms. Not to mention, President Biden currently has an all-time low approval rating, so chances are good Republicans will flip the seats that they need. In this video, we will take a look at what Democrats can likely expect in the upcoming midterms and what they could mean for immigration reform after the elections. As bonus, we will also discuss the latest news on the bipartisan immigration negotiations, so stay tuned. And if this is your first time on my channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications for regular immigration news updates. And if you would like to get my help on your case, please call my office to schedule a case evaluation at 212-248-7907. So what can we expect in the upcoming midterm elections in November of this year? Midterms are widely seen as a referendum on the president because there tends to be a correlation between the president's approval and how many seats are lost. President Biden's approval rating is currently sitting at 41.9%, which is as low as former President Trump's back in 2018 and about 10% lower than the average approval rating for the president in a midterm year. And that is down from his highest rating of 57% when he first took office back in January of 2021. Biden's approval sunk after the withdrawal from Afghanistan in August of last year and has not recovered since, which is surprising considering he has appointed the first Black woman to the Supreme Court, responded to the crisis in Ukraine, and lifted COVID restrictions. Still, it is common for a president's job approval to remain unchanged in a midterm year, which means Biden's low ratings will likely hold steady through November. So if history is any guide, Democrats could be looking at significant losses in the upcoming elections, effectively handing control of Congress over to Republicans. The average amount of congressional seats a president's party loses during the midterms is 23, but that number is even greater when Americans are dissatisfied with the way things are going. For example, Republicans lost 40 seats in 2018 when Americans had a 21% positive view of Congress, 41% approval of Trump, and 33% overall satisfaction levels. 2 of those metrics are now at an all-time low, with only 18% of Americans satisfied with Congress and 16% satisfied with the way things are going in the country. And the only time a president's approval rating was lower than Biden's currently was President Bush's back in 2006. There are 2 factors that could still possibly reduce Democrat losses in November. One is the fact that Republicans already hold seats in many of the contested districts favored for their party, including 12 House seats they picked up in 2020. The other is the anticipated decision by the Supreme Court to overturn abortion rights, which will likely happen in the coming weeks. According to polls, this will cause 49% of Americans to be more likely to vote, with the majority of those leaning Democratic. Still, there is a good chance Democrats will lose control of Congress in the upcoming midterms. So what role will immigration play in these elections, and what hope is there for immigration reform if Republicans retake the majority in the House and Senate? As most of you know, Republicans frequently use immigration as a political weapon to win votes, and this year is no different. The narrative of Biden's border crisis has been running on conservative media outlets almost since he took office, and the president's recent attempt to end Title 42, the pandemic-related rule that allows rapid expulsion of migrants at the Mexico border, has been called a gift to Republicans. Even some Democrats in vulnerable districts have encouraged the president to wait until after the midterm elections to overturn the rule, despite how unpopular it is with Democrat voters. And although immigration is often secondary in importance to inflation, gas prices, and the general direction of the economy, Republican messaging around it has stopped any hope of reform from passing this year. Members of the bipartisan group of senators who have been discussing immigration reform since April announced it is unlikely they will make progress, with Republican member Thom Tillis saying that the group is not going to have the capacity to have anything put down before we return from the August recess. That means Congress probably won't vote on any immigration reform bill until after the midterms, when Republicans have likely reclaimed a majority of seats. And while that does not mean immigration reform will be impossible, it will likely become more difficult. When asked about passing a bill, Senator Bob Menendez said if it doesn't happen this year, it will depend upon the results of the election. Do we have more people who are willing to deal with solving a broken immigration system? Or do we have more people of the Trump mentality in which nothing can be done? What do you think? Are Democrats going to lose their majority in Congress after the midterms? If they do, will any chance of immigration reform go with it? Leave me a comment and let me know. Fortunately, Congress is not the only part of government that can help immigrants. USCIS has been making a lot of internal changes to reduce the green card backlog and speed up case processing times. I recently did a video explaining everything they've done, and I'll include a link to that video here. I will also continue bringing you additional immigration news as it's available, so be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications if you haven't done so yet. Click here to watch this video next, and I'll see you there.